All right, here we are. The project I wait all year for, the last one of the year. It's, I think we're less than a week out from Christmas. So I'm starting on my woman's project here. At Christmas, she wakes up with something handmade because, you know, that's what I do. A diversionary project, she's been wanting a tiered water fountain. I guess you'd call it a water fountain, waterfall thing all year. She's got a really green thumb. So I'm gonna combine the two ideas. I'm doing a sunflower. I'll show you the picture of what my daughter drew right here. But yeah, that's Skylar Scudder on TikTok. Skylar MUA might be her username. She's a makeup artist. Freaking phenomenal. But she also does beautiful hand-drawn stuff. So I had her draw all that out as part of the present. So I put it on self-stick shipping labels, and I'm gonna clean these up with a wire wheel. I'm gonna stick these to that, squirt it with water like I always do on the tanks, and I'm gonna plasma cut it all out. It's gonna have JC plus AS with a heart on the back like I carved it into a tree. Each of the 3 different tiers of, this is a half tank, half a propane tank I already had already. This will be the second tier up. I'm gonna have the sunflower cut in the bottom of it. When it's done, I'll line it with burlap, fill it full of dirt, and she can have her hanging garden flower, whatever you call it. Her flower stuff. I know, how can you have any flowers if you haven't bought any? Anyhow, never mind, that hurt. Yeah, let's just get started. I'll show you how I do it. Same as always, I'll check these to see if there's anything flammable in them. When I pulled the valves on this one, I had a rainbowy liquid and sulfury smell come out, so I soaked it with water and Dawn dishwashing detergent, real good. Should be fine. I'll show you how I check them. I don't suggest you check them that way because I don't know about liability, and if you do something stupid, I don't want to be on the hook for it. I do stupid shit all the time. I do stupid stuff all the time. So yeah, let's just get started. I got a big day underneath the mask or underneath my respirator of getting these wire wheeled, ready to cut. All the adhesives on. I'm gonna try to get these cut today. Yeah, I think I got enough time to get these cut so I can just clean and paint tomorrow and kind of be ready for Christmas. So anyhow, yeah, let's just jump in. I don't got time to keep talking. Tank's roughly cleaned up. I found the seam and I didn't put it dead center to the back because I'm going to put this on the back so I don't want this to interfere roundabouts. So I'd say it's about 75% of the way around to the back. Like the dead other half is right here. So yeah, this isn't rocket science, so what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna eyeball top dead center. I'm just gonna take a piece of angle iron and wherever it falls out, back and forth centered, just as a reference line. I don't know if that will really matter with what I'm doing. So now I have to figure out how to get this sunflower where I want it, but I'm gonna cut some of the extra scrap off. Just basically knock the corners off of it. Make it a little less manageable, a little less cleanup later. See, that's the stem right there. Now we're back. I started cutting the 2 different halves. I got the same ones, and actually it would have worked perfect. The only thing I would have to do is not cut the stem and then eyeball, which I'm gonna have to do anyhow. Eyeball where the 2 pieces meet. That is too easy. So the center line here, so I'm gonna start out with the widest part of the stem and see which way I want this stem to come in, because I have to run this down. Oof. Ah. Twist it, just self-stick shipping labels. There to there, that's lined up. A few wrinkles and crinkles there, it don't matter. And I'm gonna take from that first reference line I made, and I'm gonna measure over 3 inches and make another line, and that's where, once I get these lined out, That's where the letters are gonna come over this way. Just all about finding your reference points where you want your stuff at. All right, I trimmed all my letters the same distance from the bottom of the letter. I made the ½ inch down past each letter, and also to this side so I can hit this reference line. I just laid them out and it looks pretty good. It's not falling out exactly even, which doesn't even matter to me, it's just a little bit. So I'm going to remove all these and start at the top. Start getting those stuck on. Tank here, it's a refrigerant tank, so I'm not worried about any explosives coming out of it. I'm gonna take a slicer wheel, cut the handle off. There's an extra little nipple here. I'm gonna take that out, grab a plug for it, and get this one laid out. All right, the top of the tank here is going to become the bottom of the planter, so you're looking at it upside down. But I'm going to put the sunflower itself coming out and around, but I'm going to cut the center part out because it's not going to be necessary right there. All right, the tank is 15 inches in diameter, 15 times 5 is 45 with some change. These are 11. The paper's 11 inches, so 4 of them will be 44 inches. So if I put just a big enough gap in between them, our leaves don't meet. And also where this crests over and you see there's a line, I don't know if you can see it when you're looking at it, there's a reflection line where the bend stops. That's just how I'm gonna line these up, but I'm gonna line them up in line that way, all the way around the tank, because this will be the bottom tier. And I'm honestly just kind of making stuff up on the fly as I go. If I can get anybody out of their overthinking it phase where they're what do they call it? Paralyzation through analyzation. You just can't quit thinking about it and you can't do it, just run it. All right, getting ready to test these tanks for flammability. I pulled the valve. There was some rainbowy stuff that came out in the rain and it was nasty and it stank. Anyhow, this is how that I check them. I don't suggest that you check them this way because I don't know nothing about the liability. But I've got the air gun here. I got it zip tied. I got a brake hose so it drops down in. There we go. I'm gonna get the air pump into it and then I'm gonna light the torch and hold it off and see if anything comes out. Do this outside, away from your building. I'm doing it at my shop. I already tested it off camera. I forgot to hit record outside, so here I am shooting it again. So yeah, I already know it's fine. It stinks, but it doesn't seem to be having an issue here. So this is a brand new, not a brand new, but I just pulled the valve off this tank. So it was just a hot tank right before I did this. Was it 2 days ago I pulled the valve. Rinsed it with water with some Dawn in it. I put 5-gallon bucket of water with a whole bunch of Dawn down in it. Rinsed it around, sloshed it around, drained it out. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna get set up here and start cutting. All right, I'm all set up here. I'm ready to start cutting. I got my plasma cutter out. But what I'm going to do, because of the size of this and intricacies, I think I'm gonna come in my arm like this, get this half of the sunflower cut out, this half, then start working my way down and come back and hit these. Actually, I'll probably hit these, that way the air don't come out of the stem after I cut it. Or I can cut these and then the stem. Either way, but the thing is, you don't want to cut something and then be cutting over here because that air will come right back into your face. The hot air, the hot sparks, the nasty smoke you're going to see coming out of here. Be very careful doing this. I got to get my ventilation fired up. So yeah, let me get rolling. I've also got a bottle of water here. And this paper template, I'm gonna keep it soaking wet because this will start to disappear, but not completely if it's wet. It buys me enough time to get out ahead of it. I'm gonna start on this side, cut this way like I was just thought it through. If I cut over here and then cut this, it's all gonna blow on me. So I'll start here and work my way over. All right, here we are, Christmas Eve. I got just a couple hours left before I gotta do family stuff. I'm still working on my woman's present. So let's jump right in. What I've got here is a 2-foot piece of 3/4 inch plumbing pipe. It's a scrap piece, clearly. But I've got a 3/4 to 1/2 inch coupling with a little piece I'm gonna cut the pipe nipple off, and I'm gonna weld one of these. I got 2 different styles here, hooks. That way I can suck it up from the bottom. When I weld the pipe up for the planter stands, I'll have the hook on here for this light. And I know I'm making a mess of explaining that, but just follow along. That's what I got going. I'm exhausted, too much going on. Let's just get going. What I just did was I've got the hook, a piece of pipe to fill in, but to make a bushing. So I'm gonna weld it to this pipe, half a pipe nipple, to that bushing, to that, and now I can thread in and out on this pipe. That way I can change it out later if I needed it. I originally punched this out with a different Planet Store, and then since I got rid of the threads, I thought, well, it'd be handy to have that pipe sticking out as the thread so I can add maybe a hanging planter for something that doesn't need sunshine, or I don't know. But for right now, I'm gonna use it to hang the light. Hook again goes inside the tank, so I'll pass it through. All I'm doing here, this pipe coming up, I got the vice grips on it to hold it, and I've got 2 levels at 90 degrees. I'm gonna get it close, tack it, tap it in with a hammer, and weld it in. It's not rocket science. Close will do it. Same way here, my pipe's level. I'm gonna level the top of this. Even though everything's not perfect, it's gonna be close. Nobody even notice. All right, one last little detail I almost forgot. I cut little 2-inch pieces of 3/4 inch plumbing pipe. I'm gonna weld them onto the base here, and then I got these concrete stakes that I'll drive down to help. I drive them most all the way down so they can't be seen. But I'm hoping that'll keep you with the, this is gonna be super top heavy. I don't want this falling on kids or vehicles. So yeah, I'm gonna weld these in, and I think it's time to get this wrapped up and make it a Christmas present.